Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Madison. I'm Club President Charles McClymans, and it's great to, thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. I paid Renee to do that, so it's great to see so many people out today, the last day of January, and some nice, wet, warm weather today. Today's meeting is sponsored by Paul Gessner and the Edgewood Campus School. Paul was previously a member of the Athens, Georgia Rotary Club, and he moved to Madison last year to become president of the Edgewood Campus School. The school is a pre-kindergarten through 8th grade educational community serving Madison since 1881 and is one of the 3 schools of Edgewood founded by the Dominican Sisters of Sinsonala. Edgewood offers rigorous academic programming focusing on developing the whole child. Edgewood welcomes students from all faith traditions and those who are on their own religious journey. Edgewood has launched the Matsukeli Scholars Program to provide greater access for students, increasing racial, socioeconomic, and academic diversity. There is some information on the tables, but let's thank Paul and the Edgewood Campus School. Remain standing, and today's we'll be singing the national anthem, led by Nick Curran and Casey Elkers on the keyboard. Thank you, Nick. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you, Nick and Casey. Does anyone else think that Taylor Swift should sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl? That's what I'm thinking. Today's guest introductions, Loretta Himmelsbach. Come up, Loretta.
We have a ton of guests today, and I'm so excited to be able to announce them. When I do announce you, please do stand and stay standing so that we can all greet you appropriately at the end of the number of guests that we have. Barbara Arnold is a guest of Joy Cardine. Katie Brenner is a guest of John Braden. Debbie Deutsch is a guest of Kay Schwitzenberg. Sally Dre is a guest of Paul Gessner. Marlon Hall is a guest of Oscar Morales. Trish Yacarino is a guest of Joy Cardine. Nikki Yaverick is a guest of Ashley Quinto Powell. Did I do that right? Okay. Carolyn Jones is a guest of Margaret Murphy. Mary Kratz is a guest of Margaret Murphy. Kevin Keene is a guest of Margaret Murphy. TJ McCrae, a guest of Melinda Heinrichs. Kevin Maring, a guest of Laura Gallagher. Tiffany Pope, a guest of Nate Babel. Luann Quella, a guest of Joy Cardine. Sarah Schilling, a guest of Laura Gallagher. Peter Schlecht, a guest of Mike McKay. Brooke Soltwit, a guest of Joy Cardine. Jason Stevens, a guest of Scott Hamerson. Kate Templeton, a guest of Joan Collins. Becca Weinberg is a guest of Paul Gessner. Crystal Crystal Vernaza Sanchez is a visiting Rotarian from Ecuador. Yes, okay. Regina Vidaver is a guest of Melinda Heinrichs. Christy Williams is a guest of Joy Cardine. And Wendy Wink is a guest of Joy Cardine. Terrell Outlay is a guest of Corey Marino. And Stephanie Martinez is a guest of Ann Lucky. Another visiting Rotarian is Laura Raven from Stoughton. So welcome to all of our guests. Thank you for coming.
Welcome to all of our guests and visiting Rotarians. Joy, it's glad to you have a whole table. I'm glad you're recruiting. Congratulations. Thank you. Great. Greg Zakarski chaired this year's Veterans Assistance Committee, and he's going to come up and tell us about the grants to the veterans. Greg.
Good morning, all. Afternoon. Somewhere between 15 minutes and 15 minutes before and after noon, I've been told you can say either and it's appropriate. So, good morning, good afternoon, all, whatever your particular predilection. I'm Greg Zakarski. I chair our Rotary Veterans Grants Assistance Committee, as Charles said. By way of background, in 2013, Phil and Kit Blake made a $100,000 gift to establish the Veteran Grant Assistance Endowment Fund within our Rotary Madison Foundation. In 2021, George and Andrea Hidalgo added $105,000 to that amount in honor of their son, U.S. Army First Lieutenant Darren Hidalgo, who was killed in action serving in Afghanistan in 2011. The interest on this fund is providing grants to veterans who've been honorably discharged from active duty and who have transitioned to full-time at Madison College, Edgewood College, and the University of Wisconsin-Madison. As we all know, when attending college, unanticipated expenses and emergencies do come up. That's why this grant was established and set up to specifically help veterans get through this tough time. The Veterans Grant Assistance Fund is modeled on the Navy and Marine Corps Relief Society and the Army Emergency Fund and the Air Force Aid Society, all of which are nonprofit, independent organizations established to provide emergency financial help for active duty service members and their families with interest-free loans, grants, financial preparedness counseling, and tuition assistance. For some historical perspective, because that's kind of my thing, and I served in the Navy for 31 years and benefited from this, or at least my sailors did. The Navy Marine Corps Relief Society was established in January of 1904 using the Navy share of the 1903 Army-Navy game gate receipts with the encouragement of President Theodore Roosevelt at the time. That initial $9,000 and 19 volunteers turned into a worldwide organization of nearly 4,000 volunteers, providing nearly $40 million on an annual basis to Navy and Marine Corps service members and their families. The Army Emergency Fund was established in 1942, and the Air Force Fund in 1947 when the Air Force was established. The Rotary Veteran Grant Assistance Committee is comprised of 6 members, and we review the applications received and make recommendations on the funding of grants to students. This year, our committee reviewed 10 applications, and grants totaling over $11,000 were awarded to these 10 students. Grants provided help with automotive repair, medical bills, rent, utilities, and also helped one student with housing expenses while they were expecting their first child. The grants helped ease their minds so these veterans could stay focused on their studies. We sincerely thank Phil and Kit Blake and George and Andrea Hidalgo for their generosity in making these meaningful grants possible for veterans in our community. Thanks.
Greg, thank you for your service, and thank you for your service to Rotary. Our fund drive, our big reveal, is going to be presented today by Herman Bauman. Herman is a member of our philanthropy team. He's actually our philanthropy team chair emeritus, and he's going to come up and do the big reveal on the fund drive.
Thank you, President Charles. So as you know, our fund drive, 3 things. the Ethics Symposium, which is coming up pretty soon, February 9th, which teaches high school juniors how to make better decisions. Our Excellence in Education program, which supports community organizations that are helping make sure that no student is left behind, so they keep up with their studies. And innovation grants, which help not-for-profits try new things. So before I give you the total, I want to point out that several people have said, I forgot to give a check. I'm writing it out today, and some came in last night, and some came in this morning. So, that's the context for the number I'm about to give you. But, the news in this is that the next fellowship we create is going to be the Procrastinators Fellowship. We've actually been thinking about this for several years, but we've somehow never gotten around to it. But I guess a lot of what we do is timeless. Anyway, as you know, our goal was $135,000. We beat that by almost $8,000 with 85% participation, and our grand total at the moment is $142,980.60. Thank you all. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Herman, and I want to thank Charles Tubbs, who was thank you, Charles. Charles didn't know that he was going to be able to make it here today, but thank you, Charles, for being our chair. Thank you to everyone who has given. The campaign is still open. So if you are one of those procrastinators, feel free to make a gift today or tomorrow. It actually stays open till the end of the Rotary year, which is June 30th. And you even have an extra day in February, so you can still make your gift. All right. Our poet laureate is here today. Oscar Morales is going to come up and offer us a bit of wisdom today. Oscar.
Thanks, Charles. Today is both a somber moment for me. Anyone who knew Rotarian Stephen Fleshman knew his passion for the arts. These last days, I have found myself thinking of that thread that ran through both his life and mine, and which eventually connected us on many different levels. 40 years ago, I worked in the arts towards establishing what eventually became Latino Arts in Milwaukee, overseeing the construction of a 200-seat theater and art gallery. We celebrated the residents of Latino performers like Tito Puente, San Francisco Mine Troupe, and the eloquence of writer Sandra Cisneros, captivating thousands each year. Then life unfolded, and I became the devoted father to 4 small children, born in the span of 6 years, embracing coaching roles in t-ball, soccer, baseball, and wrestling. To make things more complicated, when we moved to Madison in 1994, I accepted the responsibility of being a PTO president at Gompers Elementary School. Amid the whirlwind, I found rare moments to translate my personal connections to family and community into poetry, and published 3 anthologies titled, I Didn't Know There Were Latinos in Wisconsin. 8 years ago, a new chapter began for me when former county executive Rick Phelps invited me to join the board of MMOCA. A seemingly ordinary invitation that would be transformative, especially under the guidance of the late MMOCA director, Stephen Fleshman. Stephen saw in me a kindred spirit, recognizing my passion for the arts as an agent for community engagement and inclusiveness. Before joining MMOCA, I had visited the museum only twice, once to see my son's work in the annual Young at Art public school exhibition, I did not appreciate nor understand that it was a free museum. It had felt like a very institution, and the imposing large doors did not seem welcoming. I was so wrong. Stephen Fleshman, with his visionary focus, revealed its potential to showcase excellence, diverse emerging artists, and reignite my passion for the arts with the shows with Nathaniel Mary Quinn and Jeffrey Gibson. While I served as a board member, Stephen allowed me to shape additional programming to foster a diverse audience for his diverse artists and artistry. Collaborating with leaders like Rotarian Dawn Krim, writer and real estate agent Sora Alvarado, former poet laureate Fabu, and school board member Ali Muldrow, we enhanced Momoka offerings with Poetry Speaks, guest lectures, and workshops, seemingly blending poetry and lectures with the visual arts. This newfound connection to the arts unexpectedly became my post-retirement compass, guiding me to establish LOUD, Latinos Organizing for Understanding and Development, a testament to the power of diverse artistic expression. The Latino Art Fair at the Overture Center and the Day of the Dead at Commonwealth Gallery were reinvented. Momoka hosted our art party, a gathering Samantha Becker Crownover and I organized. Over 200 artists and patrons came together to have conversations and ignite ideas. With Stephen's recent passing and my time spent in the desert of New Mexico, I reflect on how Stephen embodied the Rotarian motto of service above self. I remember Valerie Kazamias telling me at a Rotary meeting at the Alliant Energy Center that I was being invited to join the Momoka board. I had no idea how it would change my life. Stephen's legacy of showcasing excellence and diversity of artistic expression is now being carried on in the arts by fellow Rotarians, Joe Lanus, Robert Reed, and Weissel and music makers. Let's share a moment of silent appreciation for the life that bound so many of us together. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar, for your reflection. Ashley Quinto-Paul chairs our Member Engagement Subcommittee, and she has a quick announcement. She also has the flashiest shoes in the room today.
Well, challenge accepted. Thank you. So one of the best things about our club is that we have some really interesting members. Did you know, for instance, that one of our members holds a seat at the United Nations? Gasp, everyone at once. I know, it's very impressive. And actually, I made this poor man very uncomfortable by freaking out when I first heard this. But I'm hosting a Rotary 101 to get to know more about our club and some of the very, very interesting members. And the first one is next week, immediately following Rotary. I will be wearing different sparkly shoes, so stay tuned. But I would love to see you there. And our guest of honor is Ed Futa. So next week, mark your calendars. There's a handy orange flyer on your table, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
And for those of you who don't know Ed Futa is the former Secretary General of Rotary International, and he does sit at the United Nations, so come and get to know him. Thank you, Ashley. Some announcements, our innovation grants, the next round for our Rotary Innovation Grants is open. We have application forms in the back. If you want to apply for a nonprofit organization, the deadline for application is February 16th, our Rotary Innovation Grants. And there should be some pink sheets on your table, and also on the back table, there is at the River Food Pantry, the Community Projects Committee is a volunteer opportunity. On Saturday, February 17th, a group of Rotarians will help prepare meals and distribute meals, and you can sign up and go and do some service. Okay, moving on to birthdays. We have a lot of birthdays to celebrate, with a bit of humor and wisdom that complement Rotary's mission. We also ask our celebrants to make a gift to the Synergy Scholarship Fund. On January 28th, Roberta Gassman says, "I had a splendid 75th birthday hiking and trekking celebration in the gorgeous canyons of Sedona. All of you pink Barbies and Kens out there would have approved." January 28th, Rich Lynch. January 29th, Jeff Bartell has this to say, "As I turn 81 this week, I'm thinking about something a wise person once told me. She said, 'Remember, inside every 81-year-old, there is a 51-year-old thinking, how the hell did this happen?'" Best to all from Tucson. January 29th, Jason Fields. January 30th, Julie Bennett. January 30th, Chuck Elliott. January 31st, David Duco. January 31st, Bing Rickers. January 31st, Michael Sjogren, who says, blessed to celebrate my day while helping Rotary meet its mission. February 1st, Renee Buchanan. February 1st, Mike Hosley. February 2nd, Dan Thompson. Thanks to all of our celebrants for their gifts. Let's wish them a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. And many more. I wanted to let members know that about some recent deaths of members, family members. Julie Bennett's mother, Barbara Paxton, passed away in Indiana on December 11th. Ted Billick's mother, Lorraine Billick, passed away on January 24th in Green Bay. Mary Thompson's mother, Shirley Thompson, passed away on January 24th in Madison. And former member Ron Thorstad passed away on January 14th in Madison. I mentioned last week as well that Charles Tubbs' brother passed away recently, and we extend our sympathy to all of our Rotarians. We're thinking of you in our thoughts. Members in the news, Aurelia Estrada has been named one of the 40 under 40 by In Business Magazine. Congratulations, Aurelia. And I saw Beth Prohaska too, right? Yeah, congratulations. So, all right, on to our program. Today's program is on the topic of Wisconsin's evolution as a biohealth tech hub. Joining us to talk about this topic are Lisa Johnson and Daniel Biank, and they will now make their way up to the head table, actually up here, to the podium as I introduce them. Lisa Johnson began her bioscience career in 1989, joining 3 other business founders in launching NovaGen, a successful life science reagents company focused on protein expression and purification. She was appointed CEO of BioForward in 2015 and brings operations, startup, international, and government experience to an action-oriented association that meets members' needs through initiatives to strengthen talent and promote the capabilities of our region, collaboration to develop partnerships, educational and networking events, and legislative advocacy. Daniel Biank is the Vice President of Regulatory and Government Affairs for Accuray, the leading USA-based manufacturer of radiation therapy solutions, providing patient-first personalized cancer treatments. He has over 20 years in healthcare innovation, first as an engineer, then as an attorney and senior executive. He's partnered with business leadership teams and advocated with governments to accelerate healthcare technology to patients. We look forward to their presentation, and we have made a gift to the Rotary International Polio Plus Fund in your honor to thank you for being here with us today. So without further ado, we will have question and answer afterwards. Lisa and Daniel, welcome.
I'm timing myself because I like to talk, so I'm going to make sure I don't talk too long. All right, here we go. Should I go ahead and do it? Okay. Get this going. I thought I'd just start just so all of you may not know about BioForward, what we do. So just quickly about that before I get into the Tech Hub. So BioForward is a 501c6 organization, meaning we are a member-driven organization. We are representing Wisconsin's biohealth industry, and I will describe what that is because that might be a new term to some of you. And we can advocate. So we have a lobbyist. I have to be a lobbyist. It's not always my favorite thing, but that's what I do. So this just gives you some different areas that we focus on. I don't think it's in back of me. That we aren't really an events organization. I was told by our board when I took this over in 2015, help us grow our industry, unite us. And so we really invest into a national talent campaign, again, trying to put Wisconsin on the map. I'm just telling you this right now. If anytime you hear media call us a Rust Belt state, contact them. Because this is what makes it hard. It's hard to attract talent, companies into the state because others want to create an image for the state of Wisconsin that isn't about us. It's about the past. So Rachel Maddow heard from me, Associated Press has heard from me, CBS News has heard from me, and I challenge you, don't let them get away with it. So that's also part of what BioForward does. We challenge others. So networking, strategic initiatives, and then our big one now is this Wisconsin Biohealth Tech Hub that I'll be talking about in just a minute. I did want to just bring up advocacy. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished, and we have really fought for different things to, again, help our industries grow. We had a complete repeal of the personal property taxes taking place this year, along with increasing the research tax credit. These are things that we have to do to compete nationally with other states. Other states are out there fighting. They're promoting their key industries. Wisconsin's got to wake up, and we got to start doing that. And so that's what I'm driven to do and trying to wake up the state to start doing that more. And these were a couple great things that were passed this year. And now we're working, and Daniel and I were just in hearings these last couple weeks. We're trying to get a bill passed to support our tech hub. The EDA says we're a tech hub. Well, state, get behind us. And we're really excited about this. It's a bipartisan effort to get this through. I think it's in joint finance today or tomorrow, and then it goes to the Senate and the Assembly for a vote, and then the governor has to immediately sign it because you will see we are going to be under a tight timeline. Our application's due at the end of February, and I'll be getting into that in a minute. So what I'm going to show you now is a video. Last year, after we had done our phase 1 application, we really wanted to also show the EDA. We're getting behind this. I don't care if you give this to us. We are a tech hub. And so we really had our big summit around personalized medicine, and we put this video together and also made sure the EDA saw this, that we mean business. So this is the video. Just two minutes.
Wisconsin has a rich history of manufacturing and innovation. We've built our state on it. Through our advancements in precision manufacturing, automation, science, and technology, we've leveraged our past to drive innovations with an eye toward the future. Today, we are world-class leaders in developing and manufacturing healthcare solutions through the power of Wisconsin's biohealth industry. We have the strength of character to get things done. And now we're channeling that spirit into the evolution of healthcare by charting the path to personalized medicine. By training the workforce of tomorrow, and through our research institutions to our biohealth companies, innovations emerge, leading to advances in genomics, medical imaging, targeted therapies, and big data analytics. guiding innovative treatments with better patient outcomes. Moving us away from a one-size-fits-all approach to targeted, individualized healthcare. The evolution of healthcare is in Wisconsin, evolution that is vital to preventing, diagnosing, and treating diseases. Wisconsin is where historical manufacturing strength meets biohealth technology, leading the world in individualized care.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. So I'm a finance major. So in 1989, when they were introducing us, I did help start a company with 3 scientists from Promega. And I just got to tell you, all of you should just be so proud of this industry. It is an amazing industry. And Madison is just an incredible place to build this industry. And Milwaukee, too, and now we're starting to pull it all together. And Daniel is one of these. So applause to companies like Accuray that are changing our lives, and they're sitting in Madison, Wisconsin, which is really awesome. So what is biohealth? You've heard of biotechnology, maybe bioscience, life sciences. Well, when I came on in 2015, I'm like, okay, I am from the biosciences. Mine was a life science reagents company. That was a bioscience company, and that's like a Promega, right? And that's what we're known for in Madison especially. And we're also known for like API manufacturers, biologics manufacturers. Those are the feeders for manufacturing testing for pharmaceutical companies. We have some therapeutics, not a lot, but we also then have strength, and as you know, Exact Sciences with diagnostics, GE Healthcare with medical devices, Epic, we have digital health. Okay, that's healthcare. Those guys are not life sciences. They are not biotechnology. So we combine the two together and say we have strength in the bio and the health. Now we start to stand out against other places in the nation that don't have that broad strength like we do in Wisconsin. And that's Madison and Milwaukee coming together, and then our manufacturing strength all over this state, which we all know. We are a manufacturing state, and our industry is a manufacturing state. So that's where the term biohealth comes from. And those are the different categories, the different sectors that all have these NAICS codes behind them. So our proof is in the numbers. We're powerful. And if I had my axis going and we looked at Dane County, we got one huge bubble sitting here that's with growth and location quotient concentration of businesses. Every 2 years, BioForward invests in an economic impact study. Again, we are powerful, but this was what set the stage for the EDA and this tech hub. We couldn't be a nascent industry to apply for this tech hub. You had to show you had foundational strength, but not so powerful like San Diego, San Francisco, Boston, but you had enough strength. So we're growing. We've been growing constantly, and in our last report, this industry grew 10.7%. The state went down by 2.7%. This is what is driving a lot of growth, especially in Dane County, but also the state. So let's get to the Tech Hub. That's what we wanted to hear. So in December 2019, the Brookings Institute came out with a report and said, United States, you have to start investing outside of the coast. There is innovation happening everywhere, and if you don't start making a commitment, you're going to start to see these regions just dying away because you're just constantly putting everything on the coast. So this got embedded in the CHIPS and Science Act that has tons of different legislation. So they embedded this Tech Hub legislation within there that the Brookings Institute said we should do. So we've been working on this a long time. So the phase 1 grant came out this summer. They actually didn't give us hardly any time to put this together. So a lot of us were killing ourselves this summer. But we got through that, and now we're into the phase 2. There were 192 applications for the phase 1. 31 were chosen. Wisconsin was one. So it's really just, it was really an achievement, and it really is a game changer. Again, I told you about the media. It's a way that others can't define us in. We get to define ourselves. We know we're a tech hub. Our numbers even tell it. We know how powerful we can be in this state. So let's start showing them in these different key industries and now in this biohealth area that we can be a global tech hub. So what the United States then went through, what we all went through during COVID, was there was no supply chain, right? So we were desperate in the United States. And so a lot of this is also, how do we strengthen the United States even more? The second part is, we have to become competitive in the United States. They're killing us a lot of times. In China, they're investing. In Europe, they're investing. So again, outside of just Wisconsin, the United States, are we going to make a commitment? And this is one of their ways they're saying, where are those places in the United States that in the next 10 years, they can become a global tech hub, and they're going to help us with national security, and they're going to drive innovation to the marketplace. So that's what we went into with our phase 1 applications. We had to prove why. Why was Wisconsin a global tech hub? And so these were some of the bullets, and then this was our consortium, and some members, they also dictated to us kind of who had to be involved, but as far as kind of the entities. But where we came in with strength, and when we had our one-on-one with the EDA after we were awarded this phase 1, is we got the A++ home run because of private industry. A lot of applications came in from government, from universities. We came in with BioForward as a lead consortium member. We are a business association, and we came in with companies like Accuray, GE Healthcare, Plexus, Exact Sciences. So we really stood out that this is not just, well, I think we can be this pretty, this was private industry getting behind it. And that was one of the main reasons that we won, because they saw that what the government was saying, and I love this, we can only do so much. If private industry isn't behind it, this will not succeed. So this was a big reason why we won. So I got to tell one quick story. So then in October, I kept going, come on, tell us. I mean, this is not looking good. I was thinking we'd know in September. So the summit ends, I'm like, okay, I'm taking a vacation, go to Colorado to visit my family, my husband's family. I'm in Fort Morgan, Colorado in a Walmart, taking my sister-in-law around. She is disabled. And I get a phone call, but I don't recognize it, but I see it goes to voicemail right away. And I'm like, okay, so I'll see who that is. Well, it's Tammy Baldwin calling me, and she's yelling, we won! This is no kidding. Lisa flew up and down the aisles of a Walmart in Fort Morgan, high-fiving people. I knocked my sister almost off her wheelchair, my sister-in-law, and a woman stops and she goes, did you win the lottery? And I'm like, I did. And she was in the cat food aisle with us. And she goes, you got to go back and get better cat food now. And I'm like, you betcha. So, you betcha. Now, didn't I just sound like Wisconsin there? So, anyway, as you can see, I get really excited because you got to have passion around this. You have to have passion and believe that we can do this. So now, we're doing our phase 2 application. Now, the EDA has told us, now it's how. You proved why. Now, how are you going to do it? So that's what we're doing now. We're all dying, trying to get this done. There's a lot of work to do. So that's due at the end of February. We think we'll hear end of April, maybe May. I hope they don't go so long this time. It would be nice if they didn't. But here are the phase 2 components and criteria that we're under. Just a lot of different, things we got to put together, risk management, risk mitigation plans. We have to get commitments. We're doing all these narratives. So they do it, as you can see, by point structures then. And again, this is about national security, private investment, a lot of different criteria that we have to make sure we hit in all these different projects, which we have around, let's see if it goes. There it goes. We have 3 in the technology area we're coming in. We have 1 with entrepreneurship that BioForward is leading. We have 2 around workforce. And then we have 1 in Tech Hub governance that also BioForward is leading. And we have the centerpiece, and I know Daniel has this too, where we kind of are showing the EDA kind of how we're structuring our Biohealth Tech Hub. So my last slide is just who's leading this. Wendy Harris, I think was 35 years with GE Healthcare, an executive with GE Healthcare, amazing, electrical engineer, brilliant, just very well organized. So she's a good counterpart to me, Miss Emotion. So I'm the one out there selling, let's get going, we're going to win this, but she keeps us structured, which is really good. And then Aaron Olver has been awesome. He leads the university research part, but a lot of you know he has substantial experience in economic development. He is helping steer our consortium committee. So that's the rundown from me. I'm going to let Daniel talk then, kind of from that private industry perspective, and then we would be happy to take any questions. All right, thank you.
So thank you, and thank you, Lisa, for the introduction with the excitement, I think, and I'll fill in some of the details of how we got here. But so first, bring the industry perspective. I'm coming from Accuray, but worked across many GE manufacturers, the GE Healthcare and other small startups in my legal practice, and so hope I can represent that all pretty well here. We're going to talk about Accuray, oncology, which is one of our major healthcare challenges, and then personalized medicine, which is the target of our Tech Hub application, and then why Wisconsin and how we got here. So first, Accuray, quickly at a glance. We are the only major US-based manufacturer of radiation therapy systems. There's only 3 in the world. We're based right here in Madison, Wisconsin. We manufacture here, we design here. Every system that we install has a Wisconsin label on it. We serve over 1,000 customers. We have over 1,000 employees, and across 60 different countries. But this is really came out of the UW, and then combined with another startup out of Stanford to create this radiation therapy manufacturer. We have 4 products. One is Precision. It's a software product for planning radiation therapy. That's where they set the target, how they're going to treat the patient, and personalize it to their condition. And they have the CyberKnife, which is a robot with a radiation source, and then the Radixact and tomotherapy, which was the product that came out of UW, which looks very much like a CT machine, but adds then therapeutic to that. So talk about oncology. So with oncology, this is the second largest healthcare challenge in terms of the disease that people face, but also where we spend our money in healthcare, second only to cardiovascular. And what these graphs show is that the incident rate of cancer is actually going up and continuing to go up faster than the population. It's generally in the older population, so this is what impacts Medicare and our public health programs. The good news is mortality related to cancer is going down. Our medical innovations are having an impact. People are having cancer but living longer, and actually living long enough where they maybe have multiple episodes of cancer, and that leads to some of the cost equation. But that's the innovation is having an impact, and that's the genomic testing, like Exact Sciences, detecting things earlier so we can intervene earlier, and then personalizing treatments for those particular patients. And that leads to the personalized medicine. I like this summary of it. It's the right treatment for the right patient at the right time. And it's very important because you don't want to give people the wrong treatment. That's not effective for them, right? But and also, as we have more treatment options, we need to be able to match those patients with the best treatment that they need. The thing with personalized medicine, we have 2 basic dimensions. One is the patient characteristics, and this is, what is the patient's biology, what are they going to respond to from a pharmaceutical standpoint. There's then the pathology characteristic, which is the genetic information about cancer itself, which tells us how to best intervene and what will be effective for that cancer. And this works across other disease sites. It's not just oncology, but also neuro disorders, even heart disorders. As we learn more, we have more and more data about both the patient and the health condition. And then we need to figure out what to do, and this is where personalized treatments come in. So in radiation therapy treatment, every plan is customized, and the innovations in radiation therapy are about how do we make sure that we are separating the cancer from the patient and just treating the cancer and sparing the patient from radiation. For treatments like the theranostics that Wisconsin has a unique supply chain for with SHINE and North Star, they provide isotopes that then target specific pathologies, and they will actually tailor the radiopharmaceutical to target the particular signature of the pathology of the disease, and then it concentrates there, and that's how it treats the cancer. So the other pieces that people know be like matching the drugs to make sure we're using drugs that are effective and not using drugs that aren't effective, and then people have the bad side effects to go with that. So this is the story of personalized medicine. It's not the one-size-fits-all solution. It's about early detection so we can intervene earlier and hopefully before the disease is severe. The therapies need to be targeted, and it's all based on lots and lots of information. And that gets us the real challenge of personalized medicine today is how do the physicians and the health system navigate all of that information? You have to translate everything now we know about the patient, know about the pathology, and really match them with the best course of care. And those now, there's more treatment options as well. It's not just radiation therapy, which is used in about 50% of all cancer diagnosis, but now there's more drugs that are available, immunotherapies that are available, and the goal is to apply the right treatment. And so that's the framework of personalized medicine, and that's what, as a tech hub, we're applying to make Wisconsin a leader in combining these things, not just to have the best treatment or the best test, but to combine those things in real clinical practice to impact patients. So why Wisconsin for the Biohealth Technology Hub? And I think first, the consortium members are a great representation of Wisconsin's foundation. You know, there's GE Healthcare, Exact Sciences, Accuray. We have excellent clinical partners with UW, the Medical College of Wisconsin. Also, Wisconsin is very representative of the larger national healthcare system. We have all levels of care in terms of rural, suburban, and urban. It's a very good place. If we can have innovations that work in Wisconsin, they will work in other places as well. The unique thing about our type of innovation versus, say, pharmaceutical innovation for these technologies, they are made in Wisconsin. They're here. Big equipment is made here. Precision manufacturers that know how to operate in medical device space are all over Wisconsin. They were developed by the early players like GE Healthcare, and a lot of the other companies rely on that expertise that has been built up in the supply chain. Even on the genomic side. So the expertise of Exact Sciences and that laboratory practices to be able to run these tests on a tremendous scale with incredible accuracy, that's an expertise that's tied to a physical location. And as we get more and more tests, we add more and more genomic indications to those same facilities. And so being made in Wisconsin is our distinguishing factor and what makes us different from the coast. And this is actually an example, a real example, of the different style of innovation. So the CHIPS Act actually came out of a lot of the problems we had during the 2020 COVID crisis. But where do we get chips? So GE, Accuray, a lot of the high-tech manufacturers, we buy specialized chips. Xilinx happens to be a chip manufacturer based in Silicon Valley. But they don't make chips in Silicon Valley. They make the designs. They have the intellectual property. They make the chips in Korea, Taiwan, China. So what happens during a COVID crisis? So in what actually happened, in March 2020, when everyone thought, oh, the economy is going to slow down, the Xilinx in Silicon Valley said, well, we won't need as many chips. And so they actually canceled their orders. They canceled their orders for the chips that are being manufactured in Korea. But then what actually happened, right? Everyone started to work from home. The demand for chips skyrocketed as people were buying computers and outfitting their home offices, and that was why we saw so then all of a sudden they realized the chips really are demand. And even for Accuray's example, we actually installed more systems. We hit our record installations during the COVID era because people had the time to handle the infrastructure to upgrade their facilities and to complete the transactions to do those things. So we saw actually an increase in demand of chips, but suddenly there's actually no physical chips. chips in the USA. And when they realized that when they went back to reschedule their time in the fabs in Korea, they couldn't get their time slots. So once they saw that happen, the Department of Defense seized all the chips. So they took the chips because they have the national security priority, and we went through the process of trying to get that priority as well. But what that meant was the chips that were in the country were all the chips there were. And the projection was for a year or two, that would be all the chips that we had. And so that's the disadvantage of not manufacturing things here. And that is the Silicon Valley model, is you create the IP, but then you find the best place and cheapest place to manufacture. And so this is a picture of that supply chain. It's like Samsung in Korea, Xilinx from California, Avnet, which is actually for us in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Plexus is a circuit board manufacturer. They would take the chips from Avnet and provide us then completed circuit boards. So when all those chips dry up, the place we have to go, you need friends nearby. And the Wisconsin distributor network is where we found our chips to continue production. And essentially they were able to balance out between all the people that didn't need their chips. We could buy up their excess chips, and that's how we maintained production during the time where there were no new chips coming from Korea. And that's why the CHIPS Act. So the CHIPS Act actually came in about 6 months after this happened. So this was one of those examples. So now Wisconsin's mode of innovation, I like this diagram. Very top, patient impact. We're directing the skill and resources of Wisconsin to have a meaningful purpose, to fill this healthcare challenge, this need for both tests, therapies, but then combining those things for practical patient impact. And it's built on our foundation of our technology leadership, which exists today and exists across the healthcare technologies, but they're rooted in the supply chain, the suppliers that have grown up here in Wisconsin. And for the purpose of economic development, and that aligns with the grant, and really the Biohealth Tech Hub is in the middle. They're then bringing those resources together, these different purposes, to make sure that we are collaborating and working towards that common purpose. And together, we have those pieces to really transform personalized medicine. We have both the components, we have the clinical expertise then to really train the world on how to apply these new technologies and not just invent them. So the hub is going to invest in projects that will build those resources here, help us collaborate. Already it's been an incredible collaboration across the companies to be able to be part of the consortium and even sort out what were the challenges, what are the barriers that keep us from the next step of evolution. And to be talking across companies and solving those problems and identifying projects, specific things to fund is a powerful thing, even just to have those interactions among the companies. Also a piece of economic development, I think it's an excellent focus, is the workforce challenges. We could have great things that we could do here, but if we can't find the people to staff those jobs or do that work, this will not scale. And so the workforce challenge is about, one, creating demand, we want to create jobs, but making sure that people are equipped to do the sorts of jobs and works that we have in Wisconsin in manufacturing and development. And then, and also that has broad participation for everyone. So this is my picture about growing in Wisconsin. So the goal of economic development might sound abstract. It's not just about dollars. It's about how do we really have healthy communities, how can people stay in Wisconsin and participate in their community, grow their families, and have a trajectory for their careers that allows them to be here. And these are pictures, actually, when we moved back to Madison, we had the opportunity to start a farm. And we're in the driftless, thin, sandy soil. So first we researched, well, what grows in that sort of soil? And actually, so lavender grows quite well in sandy soil. And so we started our lavender farm in the driftless region of Wisconsin. And that's a picture, and then the thriving of our family in that setting. But it's just the same way for economic development. It's about identifying what is Wisconsin best at? What can we do uniquely? And how do we equip the people to work together so that we can support that growth? And that is actually the last of my slides.
Yeah. Any questions? Anyone? Oh, go ahead. I see a hand there.
Mark, I'll get it.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah. How is artificial intelligence impacting on biohealth?
So artificial intelligence is a key part of the personalized medicine ecosystem. Like I said, we have great tests, great therapies, but how do you match those with the patient? And that requires a lot of data. And one of the points was equity and inclusion. We need data that reflects the population because the AI models need to train on something, and we need to make sure that what they train on is a complete set to include everyone so that the people in that data set reflect the people we want to treat. So AI, the data that is gathered is used to both train those models and then prove where our interventions are most effective.
Stand if you wish or not.
Hi, thank you. Great presentation. So we're talking capital. Darren Harris from Living Giving Enterprises. So we're talking capital, 40 to 60 million. Is that what you're going for? So on both coasts, there's a lot of private equity. Where's the capital in those markets? Why go after 40 to 60, which is kind of small? Really, in the scheme of things, there's a lot of money. So where's private capital?
Yeah, so, yeah, that would help. So again, that 40 to 70 is EDA money specifically to these projects. You're absolutely right. And this is spread over several years, right? So this is not equity financing. Our government is not into equity financing, right? And they shouldn't be. So it is very separate. So yes, the thing about Wisconsin is we also have to make companies investable. We're never going to have a ton of venture capital funds. I mean, it's going to be a long ways out, right? But that's okay. We can attract that funding if we do the right thing. And this is one of the reasons why this is a game changer. Again, a lot of this is imaging, right? National imaging. There's nothing happening in Wisconsin. They don't know about things. This gives us that opportunity to say, no, you need to be looking here. So that's why we're really pushing ahead also with one of these entrepreneurship projects, and the United States wants to see it. As we all know, we need innovation to commercialization. But you've got to show your strength, and you have to make these companies investable to even get that kind of investment back into the state. And so that's one of the things that we're charging ourselves with, is to keep progressing those companies downstream so we can attract more of that capital. And we do need more, even when you say private, that could be venture firms, but that can also be private industry. Where else can we be trying to pull in a lot of those dollars into partnerships? So we do think this gives us a really great opportunity to bring in more of that money, because you are absolutely, we are not trying to kill ourselves for only 40 to 70 million. I'm sorry. But we think there's way more out there, because now we got something to go after people with. And just one more story. There was a company, a data processing company, that just went into Green Bay. They've been looking at the Green Bay area all over the country for the last 2 years, have nothing to do with our industry. They chose Wisconsin because we were designated a tech hub. It starts to change things, so.
Let's thank Lisa and Daniel for an excellent presentation. Great. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. I hope you will be back next week when we will hear from Ari Brown on the topic of clearing the air, what Wisconsin can learn from marijuana laws in other states. So I have high expectations for that program. All right. Before we adjourn, please stand, and we will recite the Rotary four-way test together of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are adjourned. See you next week.